The fitness industry grows bigger and louder every single year. With this boom comes an endless flood of new products, each one promising to finally give you the body of your dreams. Every month, sometimes every week, there's a so-called miracle supplement launched, claiming it can melt away fat, skyrocket your muscle growth, or transform your performance overnight. And of course, behind these shiny labels and bold promises, there's an industry making billions of dollars, trying to convince you that without these products, you'll never reach your fitness goals. But here's the truth. As in any industry, there are products that actually deliver results, and others that are nothing but hype, clever marketing, and a huge waste of your hard-earned money. Unfortunately, many of the most popular supplements fall into that second category. That's why in today's video, I'm going to expose the 6 worst supplements, the ones that are absolutely not worth your time, effort, or money. Some of them might even surprise you, because they're often recommended as must-haves, when, in reality, they do almost nothing. So if you've ever stood in front of a shelf full of supplements, wondering which ones you really need, stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which products you should stop wasting your money on and why. But before we dive in, I want to get to know you better. Drop a comment below with your name and how long you've been training. I'll be checking the comments, and who knows, you might even see your name in the next video. Supplement number 6, calcium. Calcium is indisputably essential for bone health and various cellular functions. However, indiscriminate supplementation of this mineral, especially in tablet form, may bring more risks than benefits for most people. A balanced diet already provides significant quantities of calcium. Dairy products, dark green leafy vegetables, sardines with bones, tofu, and even some mineral waters are excellent sources. Calcium obtained through these foods is absorbed gradually and regulated by the organism, reducing the risks of excess. The problem with supplementation is that it can create abrupt spikes of calcium in the blood, overloading the natural regulation mechanisms. An alarming study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association revealed that people who used calcium supplements for more than 10 years showed a higher risk of arterial calcification, basically calcium depositing in artery walls, increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. This is a perfect example of how supplementing an isolated nutrient can trigger imbalances. Calcium doesn't work alone in the organism. It needs coactors like vitamins D3 and K2 to be properly directed to bones and teeth, and not to soft tissues or arteries. Most calcium supplements don't contain these essential coactors. If you have specific concerns about bone health, a smarter approach would be to optimize your vitamin D levels, which improves calcium absorption. Practice impact and resistance exercises, which stimulate bone formation, and consume a variety of foods rich in calcium and its coactors. After exposing all those overhyped supplements that waste your money, you might be wondering, okay, but are there any that are actually worth buying? And the answer is yes. There are a few that science consistently supports, and today I'll share the top 3 that truly deserve your investment. Supplement number 5, multivitamins. Let me ask you this. Who here has never been tempted by the promise of solving all nutritional needs with just one magic pill? Multivitamins are sold as if they were some kind of nutritional insurance. Take one capsule in the morning and boom, your health is guaranteed. But reality is far less impressive. In most cases, these generic complexes simply don't deliver what they promise. Here's why. First, the formulas themselves are poorly designed. Think about it with me. How can the exact same pill possibly meet the needs of a 25-year-old guy who trains heavy 5 times a week, a sedentary 40-year-old woman, and a 70-year-old senior? It's impossible. The result? You end up consuming some nutrients in excess, while others are delivered in amounts too small to make any real difference. And it doesn't stop there. Few people know that nutrients actually compete with each other for absorption. Minerals like zinc, calcium, iron, and magnesium all use similar pathways in the intestine. When you throw them in together, they end up fighting for absorption, meaning you absorb much less than if you had taken them separately in the correct dosage. That's why the smartest approach isn't taking a generic multivitamin every day, just in case. The right way is to get blood work done. Identify if you truly have any deficiencies, and only then supplement what your body actually needs. Trust me, your body and your wallet will thank you. Supplement number 4, pre-workout. Now, let's get real for a second. Pre-workouts are some of the most overhyped products on the market, When you break down their formulas, what do you usually find as the main active ingredient? That's right, caffeine. And guess what? You could get the same effect for a fraction of the price with a simple cup of black coffee. The supplement industry is brilliant at creating the illusion of value. They pack the label with a long list of scientific-sounding ingredients, making it look like you're buying some advanced formula. But when you check the actual dosages, the story changes completely. Take beta-alanine, for example, the ingredient that gives you that famous tingling sensation on your skin. To actually improve performance, you'd need at least 3 to 4 grams per day, consistently. But what do most pre-workouts contain? Just 1 or 2 grams. Enough to make you feel the tingling and think, wow, this is working, but nowhere near enough to deliver a real effect. The same goes for citrulline malate. Science shows you'd need 6 to 8 grams to get a true boost in blood flow and pumps. Yet most commercial pre-workouts throw in just 2 or 3 grams. Once again, too little to matter. And let's not forget the risks. Many pre-workouts are loaded with stimulants in such high doses that they can cause anxiety, insomnia, spikes in blood pressure, and even heart rhythm problems in more sensitive people. On top of that, your body develops tolerance. Over time, you'll need larger and larger doses to feel the same effect, and that's a dangerous cycle to fall into. So what's the alternative? Simple. If you just need a boost before training, drink a cup of black coffee about 30 minutes before. Or, if you want specific benefits, buy ingredients like beta-alanine or citrulline separately in their proper dosages. That way, you save money and have complete control over what you're putting into your body. Supplement number 3, BCAAs. Now let's talk about one of the biggest marketing successes in the fitness industry, BCAAs. These little tubs of flavored powder are sold as if they were the ultimate solution for preserving muscle, speeding up recovery, and even boosting protein synthesis. Sounds amazing, right? But the truth is very different. Here's the deal. If you're already consuming enough protein in your diet, BCAAs are completely unnecessary. Why? Because every complete protein source, whether it's chicken, beef, eggs, dairy, or even a scoop of whey protein, already contains all the BCAAs your body needs. And not just in trace amounts, but in quantities that are actually higher than what you'd get from a BCAA supplement. To put that into perspective, a single scoop of whey protein naturally provides about 5 to 6 grams of BCAAs. Meanwhile, a typical BCAA supplement gives you about 5 grams in total. And here's the kicker. You're paying way more for that isolated dose than you would for just eating protein-rich food or taking whey. It's literally like throwing your money out the window, but it gets worse. Research shows that BCAAs on their own aren't superior to BCAAs consumed through whole protein sources. In fact, your body actually makes better use of amino acids when they're consumed as part of a complete protein, because that way, you're also getting all the other essential amino acids in the right balance. Some studies even suggest that taking BCAAs in isolation could be counterproductive in certain situations. Without the full spectrum of essential amino acids, your body's protein synthesis machinery doesn't work properly. In other words, you could be creating an imbalance that actually limits muscle building instead of helping it. Now, are there cases where BCAAs might help a little? Maybe. For example, strict vegans who struggle to meet their total protein requirements might find them somewhat useful, but even then, there are much better alternatives, like complete plant protein powders. So unless you enjoy wasting money on colorful water that tastes like artificial fruit, you're much better off sticking to real protein sources. Supplement number 2. Iron. Iron is a supplement that a lot of people take without thinking twice. But here's the problem. When it comes to iron, more doesn't always mean better. In fact, it can be downright dangerous. For women of childbearing age, iron deficiency is relatively common because of regular blood loss during the menstrual cycle. In those cases, supplementation might make sense under medical supervision. But for men, and for many women outside of that age range, iron levels are usually stable, and supplementation is often unnecessary. The scary part is that, unlike other minerals, which your body can easily flush out if you take too much, iron doesn't have an efficient exit route. Excess iron builds up in your tissues, and that can lead to a condition called hemochromatosis. And trust me, you don't want that. When iron starts depositing in your organs, it can cause irreversible damage. In your liver, it can lead to cirrhosis and even increase your risk of liver cancer. In your pancreas, it can disrupt insulin production, raising your chances of developing type 2 diabetes. And in your heart, it can cause cardiomyopathy and heart failure. No surprise then that studies show men with elevated iron levels have a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. And here's another big issue with self-prescribing iron. It can mask serious health problems. For example, unexplained anemia could actually be a symptom of chronic blood loss, maybe from a stomach ulcer or worse, something like cancer in the digestive tract. If you just pop iron pills without investigating the cause, you might be delaying the diagnosis of something truly serious. So what's the right move? If you suspect low iron, don't guess. Get tested. A full workup, including blood count, serum ferritin, and transferrin saturation, will tell you exactly where your levels stand. Only then, and with medical supervision, should you consider supplementation. For the vast majority of people, a balanced diet with lean red meats, beans, lentils, and dark leafy greens is more than enough to cover iron needs, without the risks of overdoing it. Supplement number 1. Glutamine. Glutamine is often presented as an essential supplement for those who train intensely. The argument seems convincing. Being the most abundant amino acid in muscle, its supplementation should accelerate recovery and prevent muscle catabolism. However, the human body already naturally produces large quantities of glutamine, approximately 50 to 80 grams per day under normal conditions. This endogenous production is more than sufficient to meet the needs of a healthy person, even during periods of intense training. Study after study has demonstrated that glutamine supplementation offers no significant benefits for muscle mass gain, strength, or recovery in healthy individuals. It's true that glutamine plays important roles in the body. It serves as fuel for immune system and intestinal cells, helps in ammonia detoxification, and contributes to acid-base balance. However, research shows that in healthy people, supplementation doesn't improve these functions beyond what the body already does naturally. There's confusion between glutamine's role in clinical situations and in the fitness context. In hospitalized patients with severe burns or after surgeries, glutamine may be beneficial because, in these extreme situations, the body can't produce sufficient quantities. But transposing these results to healthy people who merely practice weight training is a serious conceptual error. After exposing all those overhyped supplements that waste your money, you might be wondering, okay, but are there any that are actually worth buying? And the answer is yes. There are a few that science consistently supports, and today I'll share the top 3 that truly deserve your investment. Number 1. Creatine. If there's one supplement that wears the crown in the fitness world, it's creatine. Hands down, it's the gold standard. No gimmicks, no marketing tricks, just decades of solid research backing it up. Creatine is a compound your body naturally produces, and you also get a bit from foods like red meat and fish. But here's the thing, the amount you make and eat usually isn't enough to maximize its benefits. That's where supplementation comes in. When you take creatine, it boosts the levels of phosphocreatine inside your muscles. Why does that matter? Because phosphocreatine is like a quick charge battery for your muscles. It helps regenerate ATP, which is the body's immediate energy source for explosive movements and heavy lifts. In real life, that translates into more strength and power, the ability to push out a couple more reps, and measurable gains in muscle mass. Studies consistently show increases of 5 to 15% in maximum strength, and many people see 1 to 2 kilograms of lean mass gained in the very first weeks of use. Now, let's clear up the myths. Creatine doesn't damage healthy kidneys. It doesn't cause hair loss when used correctly, and it's one of the safest supplements ever studied, with decades of evidence behind it. And the cherry on top? It's cheap. One container can last for months, making it one of the best cost-benefit supplements on the market. If you had to choose just one supplement to spend money on, creatine would be the smartest investment you could make. Number 2. Omega-3. Next up, omega-3 fatty acids. Unlike many overhyped products, omega-3 really delivers, and its benefits go far beyond the gym. EPA and DHA, the 2 most important omega-3s, are essential fats that make up cell membranes and help regulate countless physiological processes in the body. You can get them from fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and tuna, but most modern diets are way too high in omega-6 and far too low in omega-3. That imbalance fuels inflammation throughout the body. Here's what omega-3 supplementation can do. For your heart, lowers triglycerides, improves circulation, and reduces markers linked to cardiovascular disease. For your brain, DHA makes up around 40% of the polyunsaturated fats in your brain. No wonder studies link omega-3s to better focus, reduced risk of depression, and slower cognitive decline as we age. For training and recovery, omega-3 helps reduce muscle soreness after hard workouts and speeds up recovery thanks to its anti-inflammatory effects. Some evidence even shows improvements in insulin sensitivity and body composition. When choosing a supplement, go for one that clearly states the amounts of EPA and DHA, ideally in a 2-to-1 ratio, and make sure it's purified to remove heavy metals and contaminants. Number 3. Vitamin D. Vitamin D might be the most underrated of them all. It's not just a vitamin, it actually acts more like a hormone, influencing nearly every system in your body. The problem? We get most of our vitamin D from sun exposure, and modern life keeps us indoors. On top of that, sunscreen, clothing, and even living in certain latitudes all reduce natural production. The result? A global deficiency epidemic, with studies estimating that more than 40% of the world's population has insufficient levels. Why is that a big deal? Because vitamin D plays a direct role in muscle strength and recovery. Athletes with optimal levels perform better, recover faster, and are less prone to injuries. Immune system support. It helps regulate immune responses, which is critical for athletes since intense training temporarily weakens immunity. Bone health. Vitamin D works together with calcium and magnesium to keep bones and teeth strong, unlike taking calcium alone, which can sometimes cause problems. If you live in a place with limited sun exposure, or if your lifestyle keeps you indoors most of the time, vitamin D supplementation could make a huge difference in your performance, health, and overall well-being. Bonus: whey protein. Finally, let's talk about whey protein. I'm calling it a bonus because, unlike the previous 3, whey isn't strictly necessary. It all depends on your diet. At the end of the day, whey is just a very high-quality, convenient protein source. One scoop gives you 20 to 25 grams of complete protein with excellent digestibility. If you're already meeting your protein needs with whole foods like meat, fish, eggs, and legumes, you don't really need whey. But here's where it shines. If you have a busy routine and can't always sit down for a full meal, if you struggle to hit your daily protein target with food alone, or if you just want a quick and practical post-workout shake, then whey is an excellent ally. Its rapid absorption makes it great for recovery. Though remember, the so-called anabolic window isn't as critical as many people think. What matters most is hitting your daily protein goal consistently. So, whey isn't magic, but it's convenient. And for many people, convenience can make the difference between hitting goals or falling short. So, to wrap it up, creatine is the king. Omega-3 keeps both your body and brain sharp. Vitamin D protects your health, strength, and immunity. And whey protein is optional, but very handy depending on your lifestyle. These are the supplements that are truly worth your money. Everything else? Marketing hype. And before you go, there are some common mistakes people make with whey protein that actually cancel out its benefits. If you want to avoid them, check out the video that's appearing on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and may God bless you on your journey, my friend.